Jamaican style wrap buns are great, filled with warm spices and delicious coconut. These are perfect with a glass of milk or with a hot cup of coffee. Even though these are super simple to make, I spent an unreasonable amount of time testing this recipe, making mistakes so you don't have to. These should be really easy after I show you everything that I learned, as well as a few tips and tricks to get some stellar wrap buns. Let's get right into it. So I need 2 bowls for this, one for dry ingredients, one for wet ingredients. Let's start with the wet ingredients. I need half pound or 227 grams of sugar, could be brown sugar too, not a big deal. Half cup coconut milk. I tried this recipe with quarter cup whole milk and quarter cup coconut milk. That's an option, but I prefer straight coconut milk. This recipe doesn't call for a lot of liquid. For me, this is essential in wrap bun, almond flavoring. About a teaspoon, don't overdo it. Vanilla extract, a tablespoon should be good. A splash of lime juice, about a teaspoon. 1 whole egg. That's a very fresh egg. Next, I'm going to give this a proper whisk. I'm just trying to dissolve the sugar and completely whisk out the egg. Give that a real good mix. Alright, I'm going to set that aside for now and grab the dry ingredients bowl. For this, I need a pound of all-purpose flour, which is about 2.5 to 2.25 cups. 1 stick of cold butter. It should be solid enough to dice like I have it here. A cup of shredded coconut. I shredded some fresh coconut, but if you are using sweetened coconut flakes, you would have to adjust the sugar. A teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. A tablespoon of cinnamon. This is a tablespoon of freshly grated ginger. Fresh ginger really elevates wrap bun. I tried it without it and ginger makes it so much better. A cup of raisins. These are kinda big, so I chopped them up and soaked them in some white rum for about an hour. But ideally you want to do this overnight. If you have other dried fruits, you could soak and add them as well. If you have extra liquid, strain it off or account for it in the total amount of liquids the recipe calls for. Alright, time for the leaveners. I need a teaspoon of baking powder. Wrap buns are not light by any means, but they do require a little bit of rise. I also need a bit of baking soda. Not much, half a teaspoon is good. I want half a teaspoon salt. I never tried this recipe with unsalted butter, but I would still probably just add the same half teaspoon. More salted butter isn't that salty anyways. So that's everything. My goal now is to break down the butter and also evenly combine all the other ingredients. This reminds me of the ginger bowl I made the other day. This uses some similar ingredients and techniques, so check that out if you haven't seen it already. I want this to look a lot like breadcrumbs with everything combined properly. It's now time to combine the wet and dry ingredients. Stuff might settle, so I'm just giving this a quick mix. I'm confident that I measured this perfectly, so I'm going to go ahead and pour everything in. Next, I'm simply going to mix this until all the flour is hydrated. I don't want to overmix, as that would just throw off the texture of the final product. It might rise and then fall or something like that. As soon as the batter is totally hydrated, I'm going to stop mixing. This should be really soft but not runny. This was a batch of wrap buns that I made with a little bit too much liquid. They were good, baked up alright, but they didn't have that wrap bun shape. They came out looking a lot more like cookies. Not bad, but not what I was going for. Not overhydrating is very important. I'm going to set that aside and grab my baking trays. I already greased them. I'm going to make 2 different size wrap buns. With the first one, I'm going to use a tablespoon to measure out portions. A tablespoon give me irregular shaped buns, but another option is to use an ice cream scoop. It's perfect for portioning, but it's too rounded and regular. Not what I'm going for at all. Just grab a nice spoonful and place them evenly on the baking tray. Make sure you give them a little bit of space in between each, so if they flatten out, they still end up separate. I have to use my finger to push it off the spoon. Set that aside and grab the other baking tray. These wrap buns that I'm going to make now are a lot bigger. This is the size you will typically find in bakeries or supermarket in Jamaica. Now that these are done, let's pop them in the oven that has been preheating to 375 degrees. These smaller wrap buns will take around 15 minutes to bake completely. I want a bit of browning on them. Nice. Let's pop the large ones in. I'm going to garnish this with some shredded coconut. I had a little extra left from earlier. I'm just going to put a little bit on top of each bun. If you like what's cooking, now is a great time to drop a like, share, or if you're not already, subscribe and turn on notifications. These are really great with cheese. Wrap bun and cheese remind me of primary school days. That's good. Get that in the oven. This is going to take about 20 minutes to bake completely at 375 degrees. Alright, let's see how we did. These have a really nice smell. The spices are spicing. That's probably why them call them wrap bun. The size difference actually makes them taste way different, more like cookies. Ooh, these are the big boys. Looks like a rock with toasted coconut. Compared to the smaller one, it has less crust relative to its volume, so that's probably why they taste so different. Damn, that smells great. The combination of coconut, ginger and warm spices is really comforting. This tastes best a day or two after you make it, after kinda gone stale. Give that a bite. That's so good. This is kinda new for me, but wrap bun with a glass of cold milk is a great snack, especially the smaller ones. Milk and cookies vibes. That's great, but I'm in the mood for something hot, so I'm going to have this with some coffee. Alright squad, this was fun. Check the links in the description for ways to support the channel. Check out my Patreon and use the affiliate links to buy something. Check out this video here for another delicious treat. Thanks for watching and I will catch you in the next one.